A warm welcome to everyone. Today we are going to see about grammatical model explained by A E Darbyshire in his book entitled Description of English. Now let's move into the topic grammatical model. What is model? Here, Darbyshire says that it is a method of describing a language where linguistics reduce the complex mass of material to some kind of order. We can say that a model is in sense a statement of method of description. We know that in a language there are so many ways to process a task which may result in comprehensible arrangement, that is, it will include every aspect and every components available in that particular language and will only lead to confusion. So, this is why grammatical model is introduced. Some of the models are word and paradigm, item and arrangement, item and process. Now let's see what is word and paradigm. Word and paradigm is the one of the oldest and the traditional models available there. This model is traditionally used in the English speaking world in the teaching of language other than English language. The basis of language is word, and the word can be Latin or Greek grammar or conjugations of French verbs. Here, conjugation means the variation of form of a verb in an inflected language from which voice, mood, tense, and number can be identified. This model is unsuitable for the present day English, but still it is used in teaching and learning of Old English, and it is highly inflected. The second model is item and arrangement. This model was in favor a few years ago. This model assumes that the basis of a language is either phoneme, the smallest unit of speech, or morpheme, the smallest unit of word, and it works upon the empirical principle, that is, observation of arrangement of items found in the experiments, corpus, and showing the general conclusion about the arrangement of items in the language from the above observations. It is very much suitable for today's English. A pattern is made from the arrangement of items from the observation. And here is the third model. This model was also in favor a few years ago, and that was item and process. This model also assumes that basis of a language is either morpheme or phoneme and works on the empirical principle. But it differs in the pattern making because this IP looks upon the process in which morpheme undergoes changes as they makes the patterns. For example, I speak becomes I spoke and he swims becomes he swam. We can see that the verb is undergoing the changes. These two models derived from the researchers of American linguist Edward Sapir and Leonard Bloomfield. And the next one is importance of IA and IP. These models lay down the procedures for making descriptions, starting from phoneme, the smallest unit of speech. The constituents of larger units make a sentence. It is impossible to construct utterances which have never been uttered before until they have been tried out on an informant. From our daily experience and observation, taught us so many new and different words and helped us to gain more knowledge. If we Having done that means we will be keep on repeating the same words in our lifetime. Now let's see what kinds of utterance are grammatical ones and what kinds of utterance are non-grammatical ones. We have already seen that a particular language uses its certain structural patterns which are conventionally used among the speakers of that language. But there is some situations where these structural patterns may be slightly vary, which can be said as the difference between grammatical and non-grammatical utterance. For example, the sentence, "The passenger paid her fare," conforms to a common pattern in English, and the sentence, "The member made their contribution," also conforms a common pattern. Now, we can see the difference between two sentences. Everybody contributed their share and everybody contributed his share. Here, we can't say their share because it's grammatically wrong and it does not support with the pattern. If a grammatical utterance is the one which has been found by the observation to exist in the language, then the IA and IP models can only provide statements which are interesting as the historical records and facts. They have create or produce fiction like zero morphemes. For example, sheep may safely graze, or fictions like allomorphs to account the difference in pronunciation in English plurals such as churches and men, or such ambiguous sentence as generals fly back to front. And in the same, they can't say the difference in the segment beginning with by in such utterance. For example, the typing of the reporter was finished by 8 o'clock and the typing of the report was finished by his secretary. The now celebrated sentence invented by American linguist Noam Chomsky, "The colorless green ideas sleep furiously." It's obviously grammatical in sense that other sentence can be found like this. Same structure. For example, contented white kittens play happily. Here, contented means satisfied. So the author says that satisfied white kittens play happily. It is not that sort of sentence for which at the moment one can find a context. It doesn't mean that no context will not be imaginable in the future. A sentence like "very fast films are useful in the direction of cosmic rays" would have had an unimaginable context, but still it was presented as a present in the language. Nowadays, anyone who is having the knowledge of photography and physics can find it quite intangible. We must not say that a sentence is ungrammatical because it doesn't happen to accord with the grammar that our study of language has led us to be. A sentence as "everybody contributed their share" is ungrammatical only do so without realizing that they are comparing it with the sentence "everybody contributed his share," which is grammatical in the dialect of standard of English, but not necessarily in other dialects. The choice of model depend on what you want your grammar to do. You may just want to know what is language like for better understanding of the language, or you may want a grammar that helps foreigners to learn, or you may want to use it in your research program. So it depends upon what you want your grammar to do. Thank you.